Now, being a creator in this space, you get hit up a lot. I get hit up between 12 and 15 times per week with emails asking if I would review and showcase their products here up on the channel. Oraimo is no exception. This is an Amazon brand, and this bike is called the Monster 100. This video is not sponsored by them, and I originally wasn't even going to showcase their product here up on the channel. But I ended up going back on it because it got me thinking that I really wanted to talk about Chinese manufacturers coming into our space, and are they doing it for a quick profit? Does it have value to be in our space? I know that the price point makes sense to a lot of people because some people can't afford a $1,000 bike, $1,200, $1,500, $1,800, even a $2,000 electric bike. $500 is pretty feasible for a lot of people, especially since you can easily just click it on Amazon and have it drop shipped to your door. Now, I've got a lot of other thoughts that I want to talk about here with Chinese manufacturing and coming into our space, but first, let's talk about today's video sponsor.
Today's video is sponsored by Phantom Wallet. Phantom has wallets that can fit any budget, any style, have RFID protection, and come with a lifetime warranty on all models. Whether you want something simple, slim, and on a budget like the Phantom S that can add accessories like a money clip, coin holder, or an AirTag, or if you want to have something a bit more high-end like the Phantom X that is all aluminum and can add accessories like a coin holder, cash holder, ID holder, silicone band, and more, or if you want to go full minimalistic like the Phantom C MagSafe wallet that can attach to your iPhone, all great options to keep you organized and minimalistic on a budget. Thanks again for Phantom Wallet for sponsoring today's video. Now, before we get into the test of the Monster 100 to see if it's actually worth the money, let me give you a brief overview of the specs of a $500 electric bike. The whole bike is constructed of a mix between 6061 aluminum alloy and high tensile steel. The overall bike weight is 48.5 pounds and has a max load capacity of 309 pounds. The Monster 1 has a top speed of 20 miles per hour, and it's able to achieve that with a 350 watt motor using a 36 volt 13 amp hour removable battery pack that has a recharge time of 3 to 4 hours. You have 3 different options when riding this bike. You can use the 21 speed to ride it from point A to point B if your battery is dead, or if you just want to take a quick ride, or if you're looking for a bit of help when you're riding, then you can use the pedal assist levels 1 through 5, or if you're really lazy, you can use the throttle only and have a top speed of 20 miles per hour. Now, the components on this bike are pretty cheap, and that is to be expected for a bike at this price point, so I would expect that you will probably be replacing them sooner than later. The grips, in my opinion, are pretty hard on the hands, and that'll be one of the first things you will replace on this bike. To my surprise, this saddle is actually really comfortable.
So the seat in general is actually really padded and it's nice and comfy, but has this little button right here. It's almost like a set of old pumps. Pump up the seat to what you want. And then it has a release valve, which is right here, and just listen. Now that's cool. I do like that feature.
Now that the overview is out of the way, let's check out the top speed of all 5 pedal assist levels and the throttle only.
All right, so right now we're going to do a comparison through all 5 pedal assist levels as well as checking out the throttle only. So I have my phone set up here as a bike GPS to kind of compare the speed limits of each pedal assist level and the throttle. So let's get going, and we're pedal assist level 1 right now. Pedaling off. And it's a bit of a jolt to kind of get it going. I mean, like, it's one of these bikes that I probably wouldn't ride with no hands. Most other bikes I ride with no hands, it kind of is real gradual and has a smooth take up, but this is a bit of a jolt. Let's take it up to level 2. Kind of smooth there. Speed somewhat accurate actually, not too bad. Level 3. Didn't really feel any difference there. Level 4. Didn't really feel any difference there. Level 5. And level 5, I really don't feel a kick. I mean, if I take it down another gear, nah, it's pretty accurate with speed as well. Let's take a throttle only now. It seems pretty accurate actually, pretty close to the speed. Right now I'm right at the top speed. It says 21.3 on the little odometer here. Stuck around 20 on the phone. Not bad. Now the Monster 100 has features we've all seen here before. I actually featured a bike that was identical to this, except for the decal, not that long ago here up on the channel, to give you guys a good example on what to expect when you're buying an Amazon bike. Now companies like this like to take bikes off the shelf, basically put a new decal on it and call it their own. I wish they would change out, parts, components to differentiate themselves from other companies, but they choose not to do that. Now there is a space for this company in our space, and that space is for people that are commuting from point A to point B. I wouldn't recommend using this bike to work out. I wouldn't recommend using this bike for anything other than going to and from places, and that's it. Now, companies like this are kind of starting to come and take over the space. I do have a bone to pick with them, and maybe here in the near future, I'm going to be doing a podcast with some friends that are also creators within the space, and we're going to talk about this. We're basically going to weed out these companies because we care a lot about this space. So now let's talk about some of the most beneficial perks of this bike, and I guess some of the things I would be changing here if I were you. So the obvious perk is the price. $500 is definitely a big perk when it comes to an electric bike these days. But some of the things you're going to want to change on this bike are going to be really minimal, but also give this bike a lot of flair and comfort, such as the seat, the grips, and even the brakes, which we're going to talk about changing the brakes at the end of the video. But first I want to test out these mechanical disc brakes to see how well they work. We'll also talk about how you can change out the battery, the pedals, and even really customize this bike to make it your own. But first, let's test out this bike on a hill test as well as a brake test. So we know the top speed of pedal assist level 1 through 5 as well as the throttle only. Now, I find myself only riding this in pedal assist level 5 and or just using the throttle. I don't find this to be like a bike I would use to work out. This would be a from point A to point B style bike, and I find it that most other people probably feel the same way. So we're going to use pedal assist level 5 on this double switchback hill as well as throttle only, see what it's capable of. Now, we do have 21 gears to work with, so I think we'll be able to get up this. Let's get to it. All right, so we're going to do this in pedal assist level 5. Let's get it going. Definitely isn't that easy to pedal. There we go, now it's going. It definitely like slacks a little bit though. Like as I'm pedaling, it kind of gives up and then starts again, gives up, starts again. Let's see if we downshift, we get up it. Obviously we'll be able to get up with downshifting. But as I pedal harder, it's really not kicking in like I thought it should. I mean, right now, seriously, I'm in pedal assist level 5, and then you can, if you can hear that, like jolts a little bit. You doing? Is it going up? I mean, I'm pedaling hard, and it's still not going any faster. Let's see if I can put in a harder gear. Still the same. I'm not too stoked on the pedal assist levels on this bike. Brake going around this turn. Oh man. Yeah, it like goes and it cuts off. Right now it's going again. Now it cut off. And it's got like 4 out of 5 pellets right now. Almost there. How you doing? Yeah, I wish I was walking. So with pedal assist level 5, I have to say I wasn't stoked with the outcome, to be honest with you. It kept cutting out, which definitely didn't feel good, especially when I was trying to downshift thinking it would cut back in, but it didn't. It only cut back in when I upshifted again, and I was pedaling as hard as I could in almost the hardest gear in order to get up the hill, and it would go and then cut out, go and then cut out. So out of all the bikes I've reviewed here on the channel, this is by far the worst when it comes to this hill. I'm not even going to lie about that, but the pedal assist feature is pretty good on a flat straightaway, as well as the throttle only. Now, let's try the throttle only, and hopefully it doesn't cut out on the way up. Now the plus side about throttle only is it basically is like a ski lift. It just takes you all the way up the hill. Hopefully it doesn't cut out. Here we go. I mean, we're chilling right now, about just hit 15 miles per hour. And we're approaching the first of the 2 switchbacks. I can see it going down the speed right now. Down to 10.5 miles per hour. Coming up to the first turn. I'll let off the throttle so we can make this turn. Look, good. Back on the throttle. 13 miles per hour. Second switchback. 8 miles per hour. What's up, guys?
What's up, bro?
That's my bag down there, just letting you know. All right. Anyway, always got to let people know because I had some random person try to rummage through my bag, even though I was like 100 feet away before. We're at 8.5 miles per hour coming up to the top of the hill. At least it didn't cut out. I have to say that. So it didn't cut out. It's not the highest performing motor I've had here on the channel, but it does the job. So pedal assist level 5 is definitely not the way to go. Throttle is the way to go when it comes to hills, specifically on this bike. Now I've had bikes on this channel that I featured that did really well through pedal assist level 3 through 5 on this hill, did not cut out, did not lag. This is pretty disappointing. Now, the throttle only is definitely the way to go. Let's try a brake test. I mean, these are mechanical disc brakes, but we got to see if they can do the job. I'm not a big fan of mechanical disc brakes, but at this price point, it's probably necessary. Let's try them out. Now we've seen all 5 pedal assist levels top speed as well as the throttle only. The only thing to do now is to test out these brakes. These are mechanical disc brakes, which usually I really don't like, but they kind of feel pretty touchy as I'm just riding at a traditional pace. Let's get it full throttle, slam on the brakes. And as I said earlier, this suspension is not able to have any changing or tuning, no adjustments to the dampening or even making it lock out. So there's gonna be a bit of a learning curve with braking or slamming on the brakes with a bike like this. Let's get it going, full throttle. Pretty much tapped out right here. Let's lock them on. Now, to be completely honest with you, it's not a terrible stopping distance in my opinion. I locked them on right about here. You can see my skid mark, and that's where the bike is. I mean, looks to be about 30 feet. This isn't a scientific channel by any means, but about 30-foot stopping distance with mechanical disc brakes. That's not terrible, to be honest with you. I've had worse. Now, in closing, yeah, the Monster 100 is definitely worth $500, but you kind of get what you pay for. There are some things I didn't like about this bike, actually, and you can kind of see it when I'm riding the bike. I didn't like the hill test. I didn't like the fact that the motor kept cutting out, but it did perform when I used the throttle. Now, there are certain things you can change with that. You can change out the controller, you can change out the battery, you can change out the grips, the seat, so many different accessories. I'm gonna link some of my favorite ones in the description below. Use my Amazon store if you feel like you want to, and all these things can be shipped to your house and you can easily put them on the bike. So with that being said, if you're looking for any other bikes, you could stretch that $500 marker all the way up to $800 to $1,000. I'll put some of my other favorite bikes in the description below as well. If you guys have any suggestions for future videos, put them in the comments below. If you guys like this video, drop a like. If you love it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.